A few moments, meditate on the Divine Supreme for peace and happiness of the whole mankind. Shanti Shanti Om Tat Sat. Om Stavakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Stavakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishna Te Namaha Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Mritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us bow down to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. Well, we have been discussing some of the topics taken from the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, how through his teachings we find Sri Ramakrishna's profound wisdom. In speaking to one of the devotees, Sri Ramakrishna said, as long as you are in the plane of relativity, you must admit both butter and buttermilk. You must admit both personal God and the universe. To explain the analogy, the original milk is Brahman realized in Samadhi. The butter, the impersonal personal God. And the buttermilk, the universe, made up of the 24 categories. And Sri Ramakrishna tells further, so long as there is the I in me, there is the personal God also before me, revealing himself through various forms of glory and as the world and living beings. So as long as I am aware of my individual entity, as long as I am conscious I am individual, then Sri Ramakrishna says you have to accept the personal God. He is there in front of me. So he manifests himself through various forms of glory. He is manifesting himself as the world and all the things you are seeing in this world. Swami Vivekananda tells, referring to the same subject, that the Absolute has become the universe. By this is not only meant the material world, but the mental world, the spiritual world, heavens and earths, and in fact everything that exists. Everything that exists is the projection of that absolute Brahman. The absolute has become the universe by coming through time, space and causation. This is the central idea of non-dualism. Nature is that infinite under limitations. Therefore, it is finite. This whole universe is that one unit existence. Name and form have created all these various differences. This name and form is the outcome of what is called Maya. What is this universe but name and form? In the universe, Brahma the creator or the cosmic Mahat first manifested himself as name and then as form, that is as the universe. So universe is the form of God. Just as I am having this body, the universe is the body of God. The soul of the universe is Paramatman, the Supreme Soul. In one of the Upanishads, this truth is very nicely described. Asti bhati priyam rupam nama chetyam sha panchakam adyam trayam brahma rupam jagadrupam tato dvayam. Its meaning is existence, manifestation, lovability, form, name, all these constitute the fivefold nature of the universe. The first three, existence, manifestation and lovability, are of the nature of Brahman, and the other two, form and name, are of the nature of the world. So, you must see this world with this perspective. What is this world? It is nothing but God's own manifestation. We are all His created beings. So, with that attitude, you will be able to look upon this universe with tremendous sacredness. You feel that the whole world is really holy. There is nothing unholy in the world. The unholiness is created by man on account of his impurities. Left by itself, the whole universe is holiest of the holy, because it is God's own form, God's own body. God is dwelling in this universe. So with that idea in the mind, you will be able to adore all the things of this world with great reverence. You will not discard and scorn the creation. You give due respect to the whole creation, and seeing the glory of the creation, you feel immensely blessed. The idea here Sri Ramakrishna is trying to impress upon us is that think that everything is God. Then proceed. Everything will be okay. When you associate the things with God, it naturally follows purity, sacredness, reverence, all these follow. You can never dislike or hate anything in this world if you associate the world with God. When you are associating the world with God, you are also being associated with God, because world cannot have its independent existence without God. The world is living. The whole universe is living as we are living. This whole universe is living with tremendous activity. It is living because God dwells in this universe. So with that attitude, if you conduct your life, you will be tremendously peaceful and also very happy. Again, Sri Ramakrishna tells in the Gospel, the wind of God's grace is incessantly blowing. Lazy sailors on the sea of life do not take advantage of it, but the active and the strong always keep the sails of their minds unfurled to catch the favorable wind and thus reach their destination very soon. Swami Vivekananda, Sri Ramakrishna's foremost disciple, who gave very illuminating discourses in America, he said, where is fate? What is fate? Who is fate? We reap what we sow. We are the makers of our own fate. None else has the blame. None else has the praise. And he gives the example. The wind is blowing. Those vessels whose sails are unfurled catch it and go toward their way. But those which have their sails furled do not catch the wind. Is that the fault of the wind? Wind is anyway blowing. Is it the fault of the merciful Father, whose wind of mercy is blowing without ceasing day and night, whose mercy knows no decay? Is it his fault that some of us are happy and some unhappy? We make our own destiny. Again, in our scriptures, great epic Mahabharata, in Shanti Parva, there is a verse which tells, Sadharanam dvayam heta daivamutthanam evacha paurusham hi param manye daivam nishchitti muhyate. These two, namely man's exertion and man's destiny, are equal in their operation. But between the two, the exertion is to be regarded as the superior thing. By believing in fate, one confounds oneself. It has stressed the need for manly effort and continued endeavor even in the midst of adverse circumstances and despite repeated failures. Human effort is not less powerful than fate for ultimate success. There is a saying that the goddess of fortune comes to those leonine persons that labor and strive. In being active, in exerting yourself, you will be able to enjoy the glory of God. If you simply keep idle, even though the glory of God is shining, you are not able to enjoy it on account of your inertia, state of inertia, dullness, stupidness, dull intellect. So you have to open up your wisdom. You must get proper training intellectually, not simply wasting your intellect in unreal things, in just trying to exploit the people or in just trying to cause disharmony among the people. Intellect should not be used that way. But what we see nowadays, perverted intelligence. Intelligence used in a wrong way. So we find lot of crime, violence, hatred, all this going on in this world. It's just because perverted intelligence is very active. That means we have not given any attention for developing our intellectual faculty in a proper way. So it's a must. Unless you know the things, how do you act upon? Unless you know what is good and what is bad, how do you choose? So it follows you have to have a very good character formation. So that our Vedanta always tells, before starting your spiritual life, you must be well formed in character. That means you must be very sincere, you must be very honest, straightforward, and clear thinking. You have to follow all the ethical and moral values. Then you will be able to understand the beauty of God. Again, Sri Ramakrishna tells in the Gospel, the darkness of centuries is dispersed at once as soon as a light is brought into the room. The accumulated sins of countless lives vanish before a single glance of God. As a general rule, one must go through a long preparation before one can attain perfection. However, through the grace of God, sudden exaltation does take place now and then, as was the case with Kalidasa, a very famous poet of India, who from the state of an ignorant rustic became at once, through the grace of the Divine Mother, the embodiment of knowledge. And Kalidasa's works are available all in Sanskrit. Very great, very enjoyable. In fact, every time at the conclusion of the program we put that cassette, Himalaya, Song of Himalaya, that was composed by Kalidasa, which comes in Kumara Sambhava, a great kavya it is, drama. So, God is the sun of knowledge. One ray of His has brought the power of understanding in this world. Swami Vivekananda said, it is an infinite chain that all are linked. If in an infinite chain, a few links can be explained, by the same method, all can be explained. Then Swamiji says further, there is no sin or virtue. Then what? There is only ignorance. By realization of non-duality, this ignorance is dispelled. The monistic Vedanta is the simplest form in which we can put truth. This is the way, this is the only way to reach the goal, to tell ourselves and to tell everybody else that we are divine. We are divine. And as we go on repeating this, strength comes. Delusions will vanish as the light becomes more and more effulgent. Load after load of ignorance will vanish, and then will come a time when all else has disappeared and the sun alone shines. Again, the same idea is given in one of our Upanishads, taken from Rigved. Swalpapi deepakanika bahulam nashayet tamaha swalpepi bodho mahatim avidyam nashayet tatha. Its meaning is, the flame of a lamp, though quite small, puts an end to immense darkness. In the same manner, illumination, however small, does away with very dense ignorance. Again, Sri Ramakrishna tells in the Gospel, the body is born and it will have to die. That's the nature of the body. You can't say body should not die at all. That means body can never be immortal. It is not the nature of the body. The nature of the body is to decay and death. It has to go one day or other. But then what? But then there is no death to the soul. This birth and death is being referred to the body only, not to the soul. The soul continues to live. When God is attained, there dawns the consciousness that the soul is separate from the body. When the Jews nailed Jesus on the cross, how was it that Lord Jesus, in spite of so much pain and suffering, prayed that they should be forgiven? Jesus was like the dry coconut in which the kernel becomes separate from the shell. We call it as copra. That is, his inner soul was separate from his physical shell. Consequently, the sufferings of the body did not affect him. And Sri Ramakrishna takes the instance of one of his relatives, Akshay by name. He died before his very eyes. And Sri Ramakrishna said, when that person died, he saw and watched how that person died. And then he tells, it was like a sword taken out from the scabbard. The sword remains as it was. Only the scabbard was left behind. It's just like that. Soul leaving the body. Swami Vivekananda says, we have become bodies. That we are souls, We have forgotten entirely. When we think of ourselves, it is a body that comes into our imagination. We behave as bodies. We talk as bodies. We are all body conscious. From this body, we have to separate the soul. You have to become copra, not green coconut. I don't know whether you have seen the copra. If you shake it, you'll see how inside it is separate. It makes sound, gada 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 gada, like that. So there is first the apparent self, that is body. Second, the mental self, who mistakes the body for himself. The absolute bound by Maya. Third, the Atman, the ever pure, the ever free. Seen partially, it is nature. Seen wholly, all nature goes. Even the memory of it is lost. There is no changeable mortal. There is a changeable mortal, one. Secondly, the eternally changeable nature. Nature is constantly changing. And thirdly, unchangeable, that is Atman. So these three are there in this creation. One is changeable, mortal. It dies, it is born and dying. The second one is eternally changeable, nature. Continuously going on changing. No stop, non-stop changing. The nature. Constantly it is changing. And the third one is unchangeable under any circumstances. That is Atman. That is Atman, separate from these two. That is our indwelling consciousness. So we have to realize that. There's a famous scripture composed by Shankaracharya. Its name is called Aparokshanubhuti. The meaning is direct realization. There he pinpoints the worst ignorance which man is capable of. Atma nityo hi sadrupo deho nityo hi asanmayah tayoreikyam prapashyanti kimajnanamata param. Shankaracharya says, the self is indeed eternal. That is, the consciousness, the indwelling consciousness in every being, in every individual is indeed eternal. And is of the nature of the reality. The body, on the other hand, is indeed transient and is of the nature of the unreal. And yet men perceive the identity of the two. Can there be an ignorance worse than this? So, you have to understand the philosophy correctly. Understanding is very important, then application comes. Apply it with full confidence. What you have learned, put it in action. That is spirituality. So with the philosophy, you will be able to enjoy your life, and you will be able to see the whole world is so enjoyable, not in the negative sense, but in a positive way. You are rising from joy to joy when you associate yourself with the Supreme Lord. then you will be able to understand the glory of the personal God, and whomsoever you are worshipping, you are just satisfied in realizing your personal God. You don't desire anything else because all your desires are fulfilled there. It is just like when you have eaten fully well, afterwards you don't like to eat anything. You are full to the brim. It is just like that. When you realize God, your joy becomes full and you don't aspire for anything else. Anything else looks insipid. So you love to be in God, with God all the time. That's what we should do. Page 736. The master completely forgot the outer world. He did not notice anyone in the room, not even his beloved Narendra, seated by his side. He did not know where he himself was seated. He was totally merged in God. Suddenly he stood up, shouting, deep drunk with the wine of divine love. As he took his seat again, he muttered, I see a light coming, but I know not whence it comes. Now Narendra sang, Lord, thou hast lifted all my sorrow with the vision of thy face, and the magic of thy beauty has bewitched my mind. Beholding thee, the 7 worlds forget their never-ending woe. What shall I say then of myself, a poor and lowly soul? Listening to this song, Sri Ramakrishna again went into deep samadhi. His eyes were closed and his body was transfixed. Coming down from the ecstatic mood, he looked around and said, Who will take me to the temple garden? He appeared like a child who felt confused in the absence of his companion. It was late in the evening. The night was dark. The devotees stood by the carriage that had been brought to take the master to Dakshineshwar. They helped him in gently, for he was still in deep ecstasy. The carriage moved down the street and they looked after it with wistful eyes. Soon the devotees turned homeward, a gentle south wind blowing in their faces. Some were humming the lines of the song, Lord, thou hast lifted all my sorrow with the vision of thy face, and the magic of thy beauty has bewitched my mind. Sri Ramakrishna sat in the drawing room of Balram's house, talking to M. It was a very hot day and long past 3 o'clock. He had come to Calcutta to see some of his young disciples and also to visit Devendra's house. Master said to M, I gave my word that I would be here at 3 o'clock, so I have come. But it's very hot. M said, Yes, sir, you must have suffered very much. The devotees were fanning Sri Ramakrishna. Master said, I have come here for Babu Ram and the younger Naren. Why haven't you brought Purna? M said, he doesn't like to come to a gathering of people. He is afraid you might praise him before others and his relatives might then hear about it. Master said, yes, that's true. I won't do it in the future. Well, I understand that you are giving Purna religious instruction. That's fine. Yam said, as a matter of fact, the same thing is written in one of the textbooks of the school. It says, with all thy soul, love God above, and as thyself, thy neighbor, love. If their guardians are displeased with such teachings, it can't be helped. Master said, no doubt many things like that are written in those books, but the authors themselves do not assimilate what they write. This power of assimilation comes from associating with holy men. People listen to instruction only when it is given by a sadhu who has truly renounced the world. They are not much impressed by the writings or the words of a mere scholar. Suppose a physician has a big jar of molasses by his side and he asks his patients not to eat molasses. The patients won't pay much attention to his advice. Well, how do you find Purna? Does he go into ecstatic moods? Yam said, no, I haven't noticed in him any outer sign of such emotion. One day I told him those words of yours. Master said, what words? Yam answered, you told us that if a man is a small receptacle, he can't control spiritual emotion. But if he is a large receptacle, he experiences intense emotion without showing it outwardly. You said that a big lake doesn't become disturbed when an elephant enters it, but when the elephant enters a pool, one sees tremendous confusion and the water splashes on the banks. Master said, Purna will not show his emotion outwardly. He hasn't that kind of temperament. His other signs are good. What do you say? Yam answered, his eyes are very bright and prominent. Master said, mere bright eyes are not enough. The eyes of a godly person are different. Did you ask him what he felt after meeting me? Yam said, yes, sir. We talked about that. He has been telling me for the last 4 or 5 days that whenever he thinks of God or repeats his name, tears flow from his eyes and the hair on his body stands on end. Such is his joy. Master said, indeed, that's all he needs. The Master and Yam were silent for a few moments. Then Yam said, he is waiting. Master, who? Yam said, Purna. Perhaps he has been standing at the door of his house. When any of us passes that way, he will come running and salute us. Master said, oh. Sri Ramakrishna was resting, reclining against a bolster. Yam had brought with him a 12-year-old boy who was a student in his school. His name was Chirode. Yam said, he is a nice boy. He finds great joy in spiritual talk. Master said smilingly, he has eyes like a deer's. The boy saluted Sri Ramakrishna, touching his feet. Then he gently stroked the Master's feet. Master said to him, Rakhal is staying at home now. He has an abscess and is not well. I understand that his wife expects a baby. We shall stop here. Any question? You're welcome to ask. One has to make one's effort in order to get the desired result. But your effort must have direction. So first you must fix your direction. For what I am doing my efforts. That's important. So first of all you must fix yourself. Yes, I want spiritual path. That's the first step. The second step is, how do I proceed? That's the step. And following the scriptures, coming in contact with holy people, living a pure life, you should be able to exert yourself in the right way so that all ignorance is destroyed by the lamp of knowledge. That's all. So spirituality means lighting the lamp of knowledge. That is spirituality. The darkness of ignorance will be vanished. It automatically goes. When the light shows the flame, darkness cannot stand there anymore. No question. There the question of effort comes there. If a person is really seeking after the Guru, then he will find the Guru. They are drawn. The situation will come. Either the disciple, either the would-be disciple would come near the would-be Guru, or would-be Guru would come near the would-be disciple. Both ways it is possible. Yeah, if they are really, the answer is very simple. If they are sincere about the spiritual quest, then it should not be difficult for them to find the proper teacher at all. It depends upon how you really want it. Some people, their desiring is superficial. They don't want to go deep into spirituality. Just on the threshold. They are not definite about following the spiritual path. But still they want to have some glimpse of spirituality. But anyway, it is well known that there are holy places, there are men of spirituality. So it follows that they should follow them and seek the guidance. That's all. It's very simple. If a person really wants, he'll find out and he'll come. The other day I was astonished to find one of the aspirants was very eager to come and meet me, fix up the time, and came. Then I found that she is a girl coming from Vietnam. I was surprised to see her sincerity and love of spiritual life. And she was telling that she should get some instruction and get some initiation, etc. I was surprised. And it's a fact. So, where is Vietnam? Where is she? Where is Vivekananda Society? But how? It all clicked. Actually, they are coming tomorrow for initiation. 2 people are coming. One of them is Vietnamese girl. So, God will show the way. If you really pray, if you are sincere in your prayers, God will provide. The seeker is somehow made to come to the Guru. That is, the Guru invisibly draws him towards him. That's the way. Sure. Because they can't stay. They can't tolerate staying without getting spiritual instruction. They become restless. I must go. It's just like a person suffering from a disease. He feels, I must go and see the doctor. Not that doctor should run to him. He will run to doctor. Because he's so eager to get himself tested. He goes and does things. Just like that. So you are coming to spiritual doctor. Guru means spiritual doctor. Disease is worldliness. That's all. Anything else? And we shall stop. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust raging furiously within. O name, stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drowned deep in the waves of His bliss, tasting His nectar at every step, birthing in His name that bath for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord. In each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass. Be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy, consider him as dust beneath thy feet. Ah, how I long for the day when an instant's separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O thou who stillest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, for thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous attain tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, may the freed make others free. May good betide all people, may the sovereign righteously rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good, may the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour rain in time. May the earth be blessed with crops. May all countries be freed from calamity. May holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied. For he being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.